My name is Jenny Sikanix, and I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder last September. PTSD develops after a person is exposed to one or more traumatic events. The diagnosis may be given when a group of symptoms, such as disturbing recurring flashbacks, avoidance or numbing of memories of the event, and hyperarousal, continue for more than a month after the occurrence of a traumatic event. You may experience high stress levels, sleep deprivation, or anxiety attacks. This past semester, one of my residents came back from a party extremely intoxicated, and I found them actually unconscious on the floor in the bathroom. I called Lions EMS and the police after she didn't respond to me calling her name, and it took about an hour for the officers to get them out of the bathroom because they were so mentally and physically unresponsive. Um, their stomach was pumped in the hallway, and they were taken immediately to the hospital. This was the last interaction I had with my resident. I was told by my floor that their parents were really hard on them, and we all assumed that they just didn't deal with this occurrence too well. She committed suicide the day after she was released from the hospital. I felt so guilty for her passing. I felt responsible. I wrote them up. I called the police. This is entirely my fault. Most importantly, because I never knew. So I dealt with a lot of feelings of guilt and anger, and I felt like I had absolutely no control over my life. Thinking about how I coped with the loss of one of my floor mates, cyberfeminism's concept of disembodiment resonated with me as I used the internet to separate my body from my mental health. It was hard for me to communicate how I was feeling because many of my close friends and family didn't find what I was going through to be a credible experience. Everyone was encouraging me to get back up on that horse, to take naps and watch Netflix, but that wasn't what I needed. The way I was reacted to had a lot to do with the ways in which expectations were ascribed to my body. I was young and healthy, pretty and intelligent. I needed to run it off, distract myself, when all along I was trying to tell people I needed to face my traumatic experience, but didn't know how. When I didn't feel accepted in my actual world with my own body, I found a space on Tumblr. My pain and my body didn't apparently match, so it was rejected within the physical world. But here, I talked about my experience. I wrote poetry. People shared my poetry. I once got a whopping 18 notes. No one knew who I was, where I was from, or what I looked like. I was just a blogger in pain. I began to write poetry daily on this site and connect with others in a space in which nothing was expected from one another, in which our bodies didn't matter or dictate those expectations. Through disembodiment, I was able to free myself from the expectations of youth and physical health that were immediately attached to my body and achieve acceptance elsewhere. Daniels writes that the absence of the physical body and electronic space and the anonymity this offers have a liberating effect on the repressed social identity, as electronic technology becomes a tool for the design of freely chosen identities. On Tumblr, I had this choice. I wasn't expected to be happy all the time. I wasn't expected to have an agreeable disposition. I chose my identity as someone suffering from PTSD, and by removing my physical body, I could identify and understand my pain. Cyberfeminists have heralded the allure of disembodiment as a way to subvert gender and gender oppression. I use disembodiment to subvert mental health oppression, and the ways in which those surrounding me wouldn't let me be upset, wouldn't let me call what was happening to me post-traumatic stress disorder. Disembodiment let me label my experience and my identity. My name is Jenny Sikanix, and I no longer have PTSD.